Welcome to yet another devlog on my channel. In this week I will keep it short because I didn't really progress a lot on my project, but nonetheless I do have something really nice to show you, and if you're following me on Instagram you probably already know what it is. It's actually me finally integrating my new characters into my game. In this video I will basically show you how I integrated the new characters, why it actually took so long, and what are my plans for the future. So as you probably know from my previous video, and if you haven't watched that yet, you should probably watch that first before watching this one, I bought a new character pack that I wanted to integrate into my game, removing my blobs as customers and adding randomly generated characters instead. I worked on the integration for about 2.5 weeks, from which mainly I focused on understanding the existing code that came with the character package and trying to use it as efficiently as possible to integrate it in my code. I wasted some time trying to make a database or an atlas that contained all of the sprites in the package, just to find out later, in like 2 or 3 days after I almost gave up on the database, that the package also came with a database component which I could just add on a game object and just specify the path to the sprites, and it would make my whole life easier. So yeah, I kind of wasted some time there, but in the end I think it turned out nicely. After I finished testing some things in my test project, I finally decided to integrate my characters into the main project, and this is what the first attempt looked like. I would say that it is a small step for mankind and a huge leap for me. Forget that. No, there's no step for mankind, just leap for me, I guess. Yeah. After I was done with the first integration, I realized that I forgot quite some things from my implementation, such as adding character animations and such. I fixed these issues quite easily, and after that I had my final version of my characters walking around in the shop. And currently the way I implemented the gear randomization on my characters is based on their class. But I quickly realized that this is not really a good idea, mainly because I want every character to be recognizable. So if a warrior enters in your shop, I want you to know instantly its rank, because I will have different ranks of warriors. I was thinking of like having a squire, a knight, and I don't know, paladin for example. And if I'm randomizing the gear on all these characters, considering they are all warrior types, they might have the same gear, and that I think might be confusing. So I'm currently thinking of a way, and I'm open to suggestions, of grouping these gear types and somehow make it random, but at the same time make it recognizable as well. So I probably will have different sets of armors for different types, and when a squire walks into your shop, then it will have lesser gear, I don't know, like very minor armor. And if a knight comes into your shop, he will have an amazing looking helmet, and he will be geared up and maybe even have a weapon already. I don't know. So let me know if you have some suggestions. I will look into it, and probably that will be the next step in my implementation for next week. Besides that, my plan for the next week basically is to also have a UI where I have a detailed description of my characters. I've worked on it a bit and I do have a template, but I do want to work on it more. And also I realized that currently there's absolutely no use of a detailed character UI, but with my new features that I'm planning to add, it will have more use because you will have a more detailed description of the characters. Also, I would like to add reputations with different factions, guilds. I don't know how to group them just yet. I've been thinking of having a reputation with different factions, and then there would be a different reputation for warriors, archers, and mages. But this might influence the game in one way, and if I go for the guilds where a guild can have all three of the classes, there would be a different gameplay for that situation. So yeah, currently I don't know, but that's one of the plans. In the beginning I will go for the factions and I will see how the gameplay goes afterwards. And then I would also like to implement a kind of a basic character behavior where the minimum implementation would be that the characters should have timers for how long they would stay in queue, and basically if they stay too long they would get anxious and leave, leaving you with minus reputation or something like that. But a preferred implementation in the end would be different attitudes for my characters that come to the shop, and that way the detailed character UI will come in handy because you can click on a character and then see its characteristics. Currently this is a bit further away, and I will be really happy if I will implement the timer that will allow characters to leave the queue if you don't serve them in time. And that is actually pretty much it for this week. I'm really happy that I managed to finally change my blobs, but the blobs will never be forgotten, and as promised on Instagram as well, I will come up with some kind of idea, implementation, UI element, something that will always remind you that everything started with the blobs. Thank you for watching this week's episode. I tried to keep it as short as possible because there's only one functionality I wanted to talk about. And never forget to check out my Instagram, because every time I progress with something new, that's where my that's where I first upload a screenshot of it or a video of it. Thank you for watching, have a nice week, and see you next time. Bye bye.